So recently I've been making these ground distortion effects, which in my opinion are super cool, but more importantly, they're very easy to make. They work with images, they work with video, and let me show you how to do it. So we're gonna start off by going to our camera view, and with the camera selected, we are gonna add in a background image since we're doing the photo version, not the video version, so just pick whichever photo you wanna use. Next, we need to align our camera to the scene, which I'm gonna do manually. However, I did make a excellent tutorial about how to do this in the correct, mathematical sense, so just align this the best you can. Now we need to make our plane take up whichever part of the ground we want to distort, so something like this. Go to the shading workspace, create a new material, and for the material we're just going to use a image texture using the image that we loaded in from before. Now to get this projecting correctly, we're just going to go to the modifiers tab, add in a UV project modifier using the UV map, the camera that we made, and for the aspect ratio, put in the aspect ratio, which you can use some math to figure out. And you can see that our image is now being projected from the correct view, but it's very, very heavily distorted, and to fix this, all you have to do is subdivide it, and the more you subdivide it, the less the distortion is going to be an issue. So I like something like 35. Now to get this all wobbly, we just need to add in another modifier. I'm going to choose a wave modifier, and you can see that it's already doing, this floppy fish thing. Issue with this is that when we go to the camera view, you see that it's kind of going way too far. So to fix this, we're just going to set the fall off to 1 meter. We can also control how we want this wave distortion to look. So what I like to do is take the height and bring it down a bit so it's not going as high, and then we can also change the speed so it's not going as fast. And when you're happy with the result, we can try to render this, but you're going to see that there's a bunch of issues with this, like the gray background, for instance. To fix this, just go to the render tab. We're going to go to film and enable transparency, and while we're here, also go to color management and enable standard so we don't change our color space. And now when we try to render, you can see that we now have a transparent background, but we want our original background image as the background here. To do this, go to the compositing workspace with use nodes enabled, and we are going to add in an alpha overnode in between here and here, and we can also add a viewer node to see what we're doing. Next, for the background, we need to add in our original image in the form of a image node. That's the way you do it, and then just plug this into the background, and you can see we already have the correct results. This means that when we try to render everything out, it's going to give us exactly what we want, and now let's talk about different variations. For example, you might not want this radial wave distortion, and one thing we can do is just disable the X motion, and we get this nice looking wave, but you can see the problem is it's not really attaching at the borders, but this is an easy fix because we just add a new texture, and in the texture tab, we're going to open, and you need to make this image for yourself, but you can make this nice looking fall off, which when we import it, it's going to actually pin the edges, and you can see that it's rendering out correctly. And if instead you want to do this with video, it's basically the exact same workflow, except you need to do some motion tracking to begin with, but the same modifier stack still works. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and as always, I've been CG Matter. I guess you've been you. Bye-bye.